Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Psychic Affair. Today we're looking at crystal healing. Crystals are, I think, underutilized, even when people use underutilized, because you can get a lot out of your crystals, but you're louder than your crystals. So the truth about that is they work a little bit for that. Hello, Roger. Welcome to the show, and welcome, guest. Glad to have you on board. Yes. There we go. Now, when it comes to the crystals and the choices of our crystals, when we have them in our energy field, it's not an automatic influence, and it really isn't. Obviously, if you're wearing a crystal around your neck or as bracelets, it's close to your skin, it's close to your body. It doesn't matter if it's a diamond or whether it's a quartz crystal or turquoise, it'll have some level of effect on your energy system. But it's kind of small based on the size of the crystal, your intention, what you're doing, a whole pile of factors are in there. When I had my aura camera, I ran some tests with this. Now, I've heard people saying, they've done aura pictures of their bottled water and their ionized water. In actual fact, you can't. Not accurately anyway, because all aura cameras, video or otherwise, are designed to work off the human reflex system. That is your nervous system and how it reacts. The speed and generation of energy coming out of your fingers and your palm. So a bottle or a crystal doesn't have that. So we would put it on a person's lap. And when I'd put them on a person's lap, their hands are on the biofeedback device, and then it gets red. Now, interestingly enough, once we put the crystal on a person's lap, the only thing you saw was that area would be red. Actually, it wasn't lighter blue, green, pale. The whole area was just red, and then it was just large or less. The more we focused on the crystal, at least the more the person getting the photo done, my trial subject, the more my sound is off. Can you not hear me? Can you hear me or no? Hello? Hello? Native Earth Lady, sound is off. You hear me? You hear me? Oh, okay. Yes, she had to, okay. All righty, so I'm all good now. Let's carry on. With the, I lost my track there. When we took these photos with the crystal, the more I got a person to focus on the crystal that was in their lap, the brighter the energy became, but it was still red every time. It wasn't the different colors certain people might expect, hope, or think they are. So I figured then that essentially it became a matter of the red itself. It was always bright. It was very light. There's nothing wrong with that. But it meant it was promoting a level of change. It was overriding what was already there in that area. Clearly, it was always going to be in the lap because your hands are over here. When we placed them on shoulders, you didn't get the effect. You didn't see the effect. It was only ever when it was in the lap. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. Maybe a high generating area, or maybe even awareness of the fact that it's there, or maybe more accepting. I'm not too sure. What I do know, though, from repeated trial, I did have some other little biofeedback machines as well to play with, was that the effect was nominal unless the person focused on the crystal, focused on allowing the energy of the crystal to effect change, not necessarily focus on what that change would be. Now, there's the interesting bit right there. I think it's really important that if we're thinking about healing on any level, that we move past the word outcome. We move past, this is what I want from this, this is what I need to be in a better position in the future, because until you've actually executed a change, it's not easy to know what that change is going to mean to you. A change can mean breakdowns in relations that aren't working very well to start with. It can mean a move, it can mean a change in job. It can actually mean, for some people, getting ill for a while their body recharges and does things differently as it resets itself. It's not the most comfortable thing for the body to do. So think about selecting a crystal. When I had my shop, I had a ton of crystals, and the specimens would all go fastest, the dearest crystals. And then the tumbled crystals, the smaller points, they would all go as people would wander around and they would select them. And sometimes they'd go and look at my crystal book, and then they would choose a crystal based on the meaning. And other times they would go around and they would just feel the crystals, and we've all seen that in play, feel the crystals, and then they'd come and check the book after they chose one. You'd find that actually I prefer the second method to the first, so that your brain, your thought processes, your belief structure isn't necessarily in on the game. Whether you're attracted to green, mauve, or reds, it's not really relevant because you'll still be attracted to something that works for you. I also like to point out, quite often a person will say, I don't like blah, blah crystal because it makes me feel uncomfortable. I figure that that's the one to get, all right? Because you're being balanced, it's being able to fit into any environment. It's being able to take on any kind of thing that's going on for you. When we're in uncomfortable situations and we manage that really well, or we find ourselves feeling comfortable, it's usually due to exposure. And as a hypnotherapist, one of the very common things that you're doing when you hypnotize with a phobia is actually you're familiarizing themselves with the very thing that they have a phobia about, whether it's in their mind or whether they're physically doing that, doesn't really matter. So it's one of those things that familiar is good, and it can bring about the very change that you're looking for. The crystal, I've never believed a crystal selects you. Crystals come out of the earth. We rip them out of the ground. Sometimes that's done deliberately if the crystals have enough value. Other times and most of the time, they are a byproduct of general mining in different areas, and they become a secondary sales point for the miners that are collecting them, as they don't have diamond value for the most part. I'm sure it would be a bit of a challenge for them to find the value in actually mining specific crystals for specific purposes. So I don't believe that. But your energy in general is the loudest around. So you kind of let something in, and that's the same with another person, right? Or when you're feeling upset and you're looking for something for yourself, you need to let another person in. You need to let another energy in if you want it to actually make any changes. And I think that if you're looking for what is yours and what do you want to reinforce, it might be a completely unexpected crystal for you. It might not be the thing that you're used to. I think if a person grabs, say, and I've seen this too, where all that they are interested in is rose quartz and nothing else. Sometimes that's because they want to soften their own energy, or they believe they should have that because it might bring love to them. But if you don't allow your energy to vibrate, to resonate with that crystal, then it's not going to make a damn of difference. So there we go. Crystals in health, I find this a really interesting thing. On Witches' Britches, coming up now, we have a date, 28th of April, is it, when Witches' Britches we'll be showing you how to make crystal elixirs, something really, really cool to do. But for today's show, we're going to be talking about the fact that you can actually strengthen certain vibrations within your body by utilizing crystals because they resonate. If we go for the larger story, we're on this. Every frequency within the earth is available to us as a collective. And then if we're a little low on something, it's the same with the diet. I cast a spell on you. I love that song. Guess what our opening song might be? There's this. That's actually done deal. That's got to be the song. Yeah, right there. There's and Nina Simone's version. Yeah. Whoa, she rocks it. Because Jenny's got the way to make the sound do the deal for the opening of any show. It sounds great. So when we get back to that, all of the Earth's frequencies are available to us as a collective. It's the Earth. I don't know if you ever feel this, but I feel the throb sometimes. I feel it ebbing and flowing. When I got off the plane in America, I actually felt like I was almost sinking down. And I know it wasn't the Earth was soft. It was just a feeling of sort of being sucked down, I guess. And then when I come back to New Zealand over a year later, and of course I lived out of New Zealand, Australia for 8 years and didn't notice this change. When I got back to New Zealand, when I put my feet on the ground and after getting off the plane, I could feel the Earth pushing at me. And then, when you think about the resonance and how this works in the planetary scheme of things, the energy is actually coming in at the middle and out into the south, which now is not the South Pole, but it's in the Tasman there somewhere. And it's doing this in the northern region. The Earth is coming out of the middle and into the north. So it's quite an interesting thing, and I could feel that difference. And when you're completely involved feeling energy, you'll feel shifts, you'll feel strange things. And the reason I mention that is within this larger structure, there are a whole myriad of frequencies, things that we turn into copper, streams of gold. All of these run through the earth. They're not something we manufacture. They're just something we submission to get what we want out of them. So if you're looking to strengthen something like confidence, you may want to use a crystal that allows it. If you're feeling absent-minded, Roger, Roger. You might want clear quartz, and so you can choose a crystal for a function, but then you still need to allow that frequency to predominate. Roger that. You need to allow that frequency to predominate, to move into your this is like poor Roger. He comes into the show, and between him and now, like halfway through the shows, there's always, he's saying to her, you know, do you hear that now? And she's saying to him, do you hear that, Roger? So funny. It cracks me up. I love it. So the clarity there says, you know, if you find yourself in circles, Roger, or, you know, anybody, anytime, you can go and get yourself the clear quartz crystal frequency. Now, if you can't get the crystal, you can do it because it's in the earth. You can go to the earth and directly draw up any energy that the earth holds within her. And so what you're doing is we've got the whole earth energy, and then we're creating a channel, if you like, of energy specific to that frequency. So we're giving it a little dominance out of the whole group so that we're getting what we need the most. And we do that with food. There's no reason we can't do it energetically. In fact, I think and know that we do it energetically. If you are in an environment, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but we've got a place called Crystal Mountain, and we used to have a place which is closed down now, with quite a lot of crystals in it. And the interesting difference between these two was one of these places had a lot of crystals but not so large. And the other place, Crystal Mountain, we go downstairs and they've got a crystal museum, and they have enormous crystals. And you could just about go leg up in there after about 10 minutes. You sort of feel woozy, or I do. And I sort of have to go, yeah, give me a minute, or drink water furiously to get around it so I can get out of there okay. Yet upstairs they've got masses of crystals, again a lot smaller, with a few large specimens here and there, and I don't have any problem with it at all. But by the time I've spent an hour in that whole environment, an hour and a half, by the time I get out of there, I'm feeling a little bit doolally, to be honest. So it's kind of funny. So welcome, Sherry. Welcome, Jackie. Nice to have you. And Jennifer's Journey. If you've got a crystal in your environment that you'd like to work with, either while I go through, we will go through the crystals. Fantastic. If you haven't, I can draw a crystal for you. It's great to see you here, Sherry. Fantastic. So if you've got a disorder, like, for example, we're talking about being absent-minded. If you've got a little bit of something going on, memory's causing a problem, and it's chronic, that means it keeps going on and on and on. It's worth getting the crystal. It's worth igniting the crystal and creating a union between you and the crystal, and I'll show you today how to do that. And then you can think about things that are regular issues for you, whether that's, like I said, confidence, anger issues. What do you need to soften that up? The idea that if you're feeling angry, or if you get hit up a lot, passionate, whichever way you go there, but you end up being overboard and you think, I haven't gone that far, it's not quite correct to think, I just need the rose quartz to soften my energy. That might be right for one person, but another person might need self-acceptance, do you understand? And so the self-acceptance, like leucodolite, can help you nurturing, so you might need Larimar. So you think about where's the anger coming from? Is it coming from feeling alone, insecure? And then you get the crystal for that, not the anger. Now, if you want to pair that with a rose quartz, absolutely. But, you know, it's about thinking twice about that. Now, this is the Crystal Caves. I really love these. They've got beautiful photos. You can see the video, selenite. And selenite is the largest crystals that have ever been found. Most recently, a few years ago, in Mexico, they found this crystal cave, and the company gives them their kudos all by themselves, decide not to mine this cave. They found it as a part of their mining contract, and they decided it was too good to trash it, so they've left it alone, and people can now go through them. There's crystals, they can walk on them. People look tiny walking up and down these things. So it's a really amazing, amazing space. Now, the reason I put that photo in there is just to remind us these crystals, the earth, before we get them to a shop, before we do anything with them, they are already there, and they're inside, deep down in the earth in some cases, doing their thing, which is pretty nice. So crystals, there are some wonderful things you can do with crystals and chakras. And again, crystal cards are just as good. Crystal books, the crystals themselves, go and find a picture on Google. Use the picture of them on your screen as a screensaver, as a reminder. You can get a photo of yourself and you can plonk a crystal on each chakra point on your throat. If you wish to